Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibiers, welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. Good to have you here. It's Tuesday, January 13th. We had openings in the Brendan Banfield trial as well as the first few witnesses, so I wanted to go ahead and do a part one of this. Let's jump in. For the state openings, they say Brendan killed his wife, Christine, and a stranger, Joseph Ryan. Christine and Joseph had no reason to know each other. Christine was an ICU nurse, and she and Brendan had a 4-year-old daughter. Christine's work hours were odd. She could work nights. It was unpredictable. To help with childcare, Juliana joined them as a live-in nanny to take care of their daughter while Brendan traveled for work and Christine worked odd hours. In August of 2022, Brendan and Juliana began an affair that started with sex but grew to dates together. They went to movies, went on bike rides, and took a trip to New York. On that trip, Brendan revealed his desire to get rid of Christine. Divorce wasn't an option because of custody. He thought Christine was a terrible mother. He convinced Juliana to get rid of Christine. They talked about hiring a hitman, but Brendan said that could be tied back to him. The plot was they would use Christine's emails to create a fake profile to lure someone who was into BDSM and have him come to the house to assault Christine. Brendan would be the hero of the day, saving Christine. They created an account on FetLife posing as Christine. They spent weeks chatting with potential victims, looking for the perfect person. January 24th, Brendan found Joseph Ryan. Ryan engaged in conversations with who he thought was Christine. Brendan bought Juliana a gun and took her target shooting, and he bought soundproof windows. At this point, Joseph Ryan was on board with the plan. Brendan created the narrative that Christine wanted to be assaulted. Brendan told Joseph the door would be unlocked, to come upstairs, and she would be asleep. To tie her up, cut off her clothes, and assault her. Joseph was following the rules, and even if Christine was terrified and yelling for help, it was part of the plan. Knowing Christine had a day off, Brendan and Juliana faked a zoo trip. Christina was still in bed at 6 a.m. Brendan takes her phone and their daughter downstairs and talks to Joseph to confirm the details. He fixes the house door lock so it doesn't automatically lock when he leaves. He turns Christine's phone off and puts it in a kitchen drawer to be sure she can't call for help. Brendan leaves the house first and then Juliana. Brendan drives to a nearby McDonald's to wait, and Juliana goes to the cul-de-sac to give the call out to Brendan as soon as she sees Joseph's car arrive. Juliana had a gun in her pocket. When Joseph arrives, she calls Christine to have a record of this call for a fake warning. Then she calls Brendan to let him know Joe is in the house. Brendan leaves McDonald's and goes back to the home. With his daughter in tow, they entered through the basement, but Juliana was nervous and screwed up the plan, calling 911 too soon. She hangs up as soon as Brendan is giving her a hand signal to stop. They leave his daughter in the basement, sneak up the stairs, go into the bedroom, and hear Joe Ryan and Christine. Brendan enters first, shooting Joe in the head. He picks up the knife Joe brought and stabs Christine repeatedly in the neck. He directs Juliana to shoot Joe a second time with her gun. With Christine dead or dying, Brendan spends the next several minutes manipulating Joe Ryan's body, and in the process, he leaves Christine's blood on Joe's hands and pants. Juliana calls 911. This time is scheduled to report the intruder, and Brendan tells the police, "I shot him. He stabbed her." You'll hear this from Juliana, but we don't ask you to believe her alone. You'll hear from experts about all the evidence that corroborates these facts. You'll see the telegram messages. You'll hear phone call details. You'll hear the 911 call where Brendan admits to shooting Joe. You'll see the body-worn cameras from responding officers and photos of the crime scene. Juliana will give you the narrative, but it's the blood evidence you can rely upon without a doubt. The blood puts Brendan standing over Christine, stabbing her in the neck until she died. We ask you find him guilty. Up next was the defense. As I thought they would, they go through how Juliana got a sweetheart deal. From 2 counts of murder down to manslaughter with time served after she testifies against Brendan. The defense says you have to look at timelines. The murder occurred February 24th, 2023. But Juliana's arrest wasn't until October 2023. She was held for nearly a year before she made the statements that are in complete support of what the Commonwealth just talked about. They gave her a lesser manslaughter charge with a guarantee of time served upon her testimony whenever that happens. She was arrested October 2023, and the whole reason she was arrested was to flip her against my client. You'll hear the evidence from someone other than her and other than me that in a correspondence Juliana wrote to Brendan on January 1st, where she says, they want you. All they want is to get you in this case. They want me to say things that aren't true. They want me to say things I did that aren't true. They offered me a misdemeanor. The defense says she declined the misdemeanor, facing second-degree murder at the time as the case went on. And it became very clear they wanted Brendan so badly they would do anything. As time went on, they made offers for manslaughter, but she had to testify against Brendan. Why wouldn't she take that deal? They wanted her to say something that wasn't true. She had a preliminary hearing in April 2024, and you'll see communications that show real anxiety in terms of what was going to happen. After the preliminary, her trial is set for July of 2024, but her attorney continues the case to November 12th. During that time, she lost trust in her attorney because he was the only person for someone who was thousands of miles away from her home and her family. What you'll see in the timeline I create through evidence is she was upset and said at one point, I can't believe he continued this case. I don't want that. I just want to go forward. He better not do that again. We get into September 2024, and the stress and anxiety starts to ramp up for Juliana, with her approaching November 12th court date. Brendan gets arrested, and in her mind, she loses even more hope because Brendan was the person on the outside who she was depending on. We don't dispute they had an affair. He played a supportive role to her while she was in jail, and they tried to get her to flip. What would it take to get her to come forward to tell a story? In October, she went for emergency gallbladder surgery and spent 2 weeks in the hospital. As soon as she got out, she received word that her attorney was going to continue the case again. He needed to get a digital forensics examiner to review things that had not been reviewed yet. They have a recording of the questions they were asking her during what they call the recap, and you'll hear some of those. When you're getting someone to decide to flip, you don't just take their answers. You challenge them, but the Commonwealth didn't. October 25th was the first day statements were made, and you hear someone ask her questions. But we will show you those answers are wrong based upon other evidence we have in this case, but no one ever challenged her. She's going to say where the gun was at one point, and then she tells a different story about running into the bedroom and getting the firearm out of the safe. That code was given to her by Brendan. There are significant differences in the things she told the Commonwealth, some of which go up to December 30th. I understand. She's away from home and she's young. And the Commonwealth put her in a situation and she accepted it gladly. And I'm sorry to say many people would. The catfish theory requires a conclusion that Christine gave up her devices. The Commonwealth experts said she did not give up her devices. Things started turning at the police department that will come out here, but not during the Commonwealth case. There were people within the command staff who were trying to change what the experts said about Christine's devices. They were trying to say Christine did give up these devices or was away when the devices were being used. That's significant because all the things Juliana said are intertwined with catfishing. You'll hear evidence from their expert witness and our expert witnesses. You'll hear there were some within the police department that did not believe the catfish theory. and they were transferred out of the department. When this case started, there were 12 people in the homicide squad, and as this case goes to trial, there are only 4 left. I've never experienced a case where the lead homicide detective was moved prior to trial. Juliana is the linchpin to all this, and there is no dispute. This was a horrible, tragic event for all. He ends with asking the jury to find Brendan not guilty. Now, the first witness on the stand was with dispatch who took the 911 call. I'm going to play this now. The audio is not the best it could be. I have worked with it, but this was the best I could do. I do have captions on the screen to help. So let's listen now.
2023 80205.
Direct Shout 911. Where's your emergency?
I need help. There is my friend. She just was stuck in the night now. She's bleeding a lot. I don't know what to do anymore.
Okay, where are you located? What's your address?
Oh my God.
Take a deep breath for me. Just let me know your address.
134.
Okay, 13. Take a deep breath for me. You're on Stablebrook Way. Are you on Stablebrook Way? What's your house number?
It's
Okay.
What number?
Is there somebody else there that can give you the address?
13230 Stablebrook Way.
Okay. And what's your name and what's going on?
My name is Brendan Banfield. I'm a federal agent. This is my house. There's somebody here. I shot him. But he stabbed her. She's bleeding. She got several marks on her neck. What do I do?
Okay. So what I need you to do is apply direct pressure directly to where she's bleeding from, okay? And if it becomes soaked, just add more cloth to what is already there. How old is the person?
I don't know.
The person that's bleeding?
37.
Okay. Okay, so the person that you shot, where is he?
I don't know him.
Okay, where is he though?
He's here. He's on the ground.
Okay. Okay. And the person that he stopped, where are they now? Are they still in the well? I have to come to you.
It's just important. I don't know what to do.
Okay. So I want you to get a clean cloth and apply direct pressure to where you're bleeding from, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you the one that's bleeding? Just keep applying pressure. Don't remove it. If it becomes soaked, just add more cloth to what is already there. Do not use the tourniquet. If one is already on, don't remove it. And don't throw or flush any blood-soaked items, okay? And, sir, I need you not to touch the weapons or disturb the scene at all. And don't touch or remove any impaled object, okay? Sir, hello? Ma'am, can you hear me?
Oh, what?
Okay. Are you the one who was injured?
She's not responding.
Do I want to water? He's living.
Okay. Can you tell me how her breathing is?
She's heart cooking. She's
Okay.
bleeding.
Okay. Just keep applying pressure to where she's bleeding from and just put her on her side, okay?
On her side?
Yeah, on her side. You said she's breathing normally. She's just not responding to you?
She's got a very good bolt on her neck.
Okay. Just keep applying pressure, okay? Just keep adding more what's already there. And who am I speaking to? Who are you, dear? Are you?
What?
Okay, so who's the person? Where's the person that's bleeding? Where are they in the house?
They're upstairs.
Okay. Okay, and where is the person that was shot? Are they also in the house downstairs?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the bedroom too.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, they're on the way. They're coming to you now, lights and sirens, okay? And any weapon is secured, correct? Any weapon is secured?
I have the weapon.
Okay, can you just leave it where it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you don't know the individual that was shot.
No, I never think that.
Okay. And sir, where are you? Are you taking care of the person upstairs?
I'm trying.
It's fine, but
Okay.
it's too long.
Okay. I have officers that are pulling up outside, okay? So just make sure the weapon is put to police where it is and it's secure, and just keep applying pressure. And make sure your door is unlocked. Can we make sure that's done?
All right.
And if there's any ammo, please make sure they're put away.
I'm off the door.
And unlock the door. What is it?
Okay. So make sure your weapon is down, sir. And now you're coming to the door with your hands up so the officers can see you.
I'm unlocked.
Okay, and the weapon is down?
Over there. Over there.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Are they coming?
Yeah, they're on the way. You should see them soon. They're pulling up outside right now. Let me know when you see them, okay?
I just for them.
Mm-hmm. You should be able to see them too.
I hear them.
Okay, so, okay. And no one has a weapon, right? The weapon's down?
Yeah. The weapons are down.
All right.
The weapons down.
Okay. They're pulling up outside. Just keep applying pressure to where she's bleeding from and just make sure she's okay.
You're not. Yeah.
Okay, let me know if officers are with you. Yeah, they're pulling up now. They're gonna make their way to you. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm showing them outside.
They can come in.
I'll go ahead and disconnect with you. Speak. Okay.
Come in. I have no idea. We need help. It's up here. Be in the mouth with you. So, this is no. This is your house. My God.
The next witness, Justin Hugh, who is a detective with the Fairfax PD in the Child Abuse Unit. On February 24th, 2023, he responded for a call of someone shot and someone stabbed. He had body cam activated, and they do play that audio. You just hear a lot of directions about starting care for the victims. It's loud, people talking all over each other, and that was pretty much the end of his testimony. The next witness up was Zachary Beckner. He is with the Fairfax PD. He saw the unsecured firearms in the room. One had a flashlight, which would have been Brendan's service weapon. Remember, he is a federal agent with the IRS. And then the other firearm did not have that flashlight on it. The witness handled the firearm with the flashlight and moved it from the corner of the bed in front of him and again near the other firearm. There was blood on Brendan's service weapon. They show a photo to the jury of the firearm when he found it. It was originally at the bottom right corner of the bed. The last time he saw the two firearms, they had been moved to the headboard of the bed. He walked outside with Brendan to an ambulance and took his jacket. He gave Brendan's jacket to the crime scene tech, whose name is O.J. Falk, right there on scene. On cross, he's asked which officers were there, when did they show up. He said Officer Gibbons was in the bathroom with Brendan. He's asked if he remembers Brendan rendering aid to Christine when he came in the room, and the witness just doesn't remember what he saw. Did you observe Brendan having a panic attack? The witness wouldn't necessarily say it was a panic attack. Was a firefighter kicking items on the ground? The witness says yes, there were some blankets near Joe Ryan, and the firefighter was advised to stop. The witness did not see that personally, but did hear about it. When you arrived on scene, was Christine still breathing? The witness said he didn't touch her, but listening to the body cam footage, it sounded like there was breathing, but he has no direct knowledge about that. He's asked if firefighters found a pulse. Again, he says he doesn't know. He said he thought it was maybe electrical readings like he's seen on scene. The next witness, Zachary Beckner, he's with the Fairfax County PD, and he responded to the scene and went into the house. He did see Brendan inside. They play body cam. None of this is visible on the feed, with the exception of one photo of the firearm. Everything else has been off the feed. They do show this body cam. They stop at certain places and talk. You just hear chaos in the background. The witness noticed the knife when checking Joe for a pulse, which he did not have one, and an officer steps on the knife. Another officer moves Joe's hands, and you hear chatter in the background, and they talk about starting CPR. Then the witness went outside with Brendan. He was put in a second ambulance to check him out and make sure he wasn't injured. He was also searched. The witness found 2 handgun magazines, handcuffs, and a watch. Brendan told the witness that the one weapon was his duty weapon and the other was his personal one. He went inside the ambulance with Brendan and noticed Brendan still had blood on his hands and Brendan wasn't handcuffed. Brendan told the witness his daughter was 4 years old. He did allow Brendan to wash his hands at the hospital, and Brendan's hands had not been swabbed. The reason the officer allowed him to do it is he said he felt bad for him because when the chaplain was telling him that Christine was dead, Brendan was blowing his nose and wiping his face and leaving blood on his face from his hands. After he left the hospital, the witness went back to the residence for scene security. On cross, he's asked, "Do you know what order you entered the house?" The witness says he was the 4th person in. The first was Officer Baumner. He's asked about an Officer Gibbons, but he does not know. He's asked, was Brendan cooperative? The witness said he did everything he was asked to do. He says that when the chaplain told Brendan Christine was dead, he seemed pretty emotional, and that's when he was blowing his nose and wiping his face. He said he was trying to be empathetic when he told Brendan he could wash his hands. He said nobody told him not to let Brendan wash his hands, and he got no instructions from his superiors about anything. He's asked about that panic attack Brendan had after Christine was taken out of the room. He said Brendan was just unable to walk steady and was trying to steady himself. Brendan said he was having trouble with his right leg at some point when they were walking outside. The witness was present when a doctor addressed the spasms in Brendan's leg, but he doesn't remember what was said. An officer, Sephion, was the one who stepped on the knife with his heel, and it did move, but the witness thinks it stayed in the same place after being stepped on. The officer also moved Joe's hands to check for injuries. And the last witness before the lunch break is Michael Gibbons. He's a lieutenant with the Fairfax PD and responded to the home. There was a Jeep and a Volkswagen SUV in the driveway. He got a medical bag and ran into the residence. He was told supplies were needed in the master bedroom. When he walked in, he saw a nude female covered in blood laying on her left side with Brendan standing over her with bloody hands. At this point, there was aid being rendered to Christine, and other officers were gathering medical supplies. A chest seal was requested, and the witness opened it and applied pressure to Christine's injuries. The fire department arrived and relieved him of rendering aid. So he went into the bathroom where Brendan was. He wanted to keep him separate and wanted to talk to him. He asked Brendan if he was injured and also how long Christine and Joe had been down. He said Juliana was the one that called 911, and he said my hands were covered. Brendan asked if Joe had a pulse, and the officer said he didn't know. Then Brendan asked if Christine would be okay. Later in the conversation, he told the officer that his daughter was in the house, but he was informed Juliana had taken her out of the house. After their conversation, this is the point where the fire department was carrying Christine out of the house, and 2 officers escorted Brendan. He got upset, took a minute to collect himself, and then they took him outside. They also bring in his body cam from when he first arrived. It's kind of the same thing. You hear people yelling instructions about rendering aid to the victims. After the footage ends, Brendan left the bathroom. After they left the upstairs master bedroom, there were 3 firefighters left in there and the witness. There were 2 unsecured firearms on the bed. He said the state of the bedroom, in his opinion, showed the blood had been there a while because it had started drying in certain areas. And also, he saw that some of the blood was clotting near Christine. On cross, they asked about an officer who took 2 magazine cases and the handcuffs from Brendan. The witness knew about everything but the handcuffs. He did not know Brendan was a federal agent. And he said information like that gets missed on a priority call when you're trying to save a life. He didn't notice anything informing him that Brendan was an officer from dispatch or on his CAD. He's asked if he knows what clotting is, and the witness said that it appeared to be clotting, or in other words, clumping up. When Brendan broke down was that after he asked about his daughter. The officer said it was within a minute or so after Brendan asked about her. But he did inform Brendan that the child was out of the house with Juliana. And that's where we left off for lunch. So I'll have a recap of the afternoon session later. That's it for now. Hope you guys have a good rest of your afternoon. We'll see you soon.